Hi, Gabe here from West Coast SCI Physiotherapy. Today's video will be on how to increase your vertical jump. Shout out to Kyra M for making that suggestion. Remember, these exercises are fairly advanced, so if you're feeling pain while doing the exercises, make sure to check with your healthcare professional first. As always, please subscribe to make sure you're staying on top of our latest releases. All right, so this is our eccentric single leg calf raise. And I chose a curb here with something to hold on to. Obviously, if you did it close to a stop sign or a parking meter, anything like that is just as good. You need to have some sort of elevated surface, so a lip of some sort, staircase, etc. would be great. So anyways, here we go. The ball of my foot is up on the step. The heel is well clear of the stair, so I can have space for my heel to drop. So again, the eccentric thing means you're gonna slowly lower down and then power up real fast. So it's really working on your explosive power is what we're trying to do with that maybe 3 to 5 second lowering down. I have a slight bend in my knee, so I don't want to lock my knee out. Bending your knee makes a bit of a difference in terms of which calf muscle you use. Your calf is made of 2 separate muscles. At this point, I'm trying to work that larger gastroc muscle or the meatier calf muscle. And like I said, you're slowly lowering down and powering up through that movement. Go one more. Good, and we'll switch it over. So again, the ball of your foot up on the step, slowly lowering down and then powering up. If you're finding this is pretty challenging with one foot, obviously to make this easier, 2 feet, you could make it easier by getting rid of that eccentric component so you don't have to slowly go down, but still think about powering up through it to make that a little bit easier. To make this harder, we'll talk about that second round. A couple more here. Last one. There we go. So this exercise is called single leg drop hops. I'm gonna do it from a bench like this. You could choose your height depending on your difficulty level, your strength. Ideally, you'd start shorter and then work your way off higher and higher objects. You can actually go quite high with this. And again, work your way up. I wouldn't start with something high right off the top. So I'll go side view first so you can just see what I'm doing. I'll start with my left leg. What I'm trying to do is basically just let myself drop off the height and then spring off right away. So you're kind of thinking the ground is lava and you want to spend as little amount of time as possible on the ground. So again, single leg, let myself drop off, and then a little hop at the end. So I'm gonna do 10 reps of this. It seems quite easy the first couple, but as you do it, you'll find it start to really burn, especially that calf, which again will help a lot with your vert. If you're a beginner at this and have never done anything like this, you could do it off 2 feet. Again, 2 feet is gonna be a lot easier than one leg. And again, as you add height, it'll also make it a lot harder too. So again, start small, work your way up, and then go from there. Let's do a few more. So again, what you're trying to think is the ground is lava, little kid's game, and you want to spend as little amount of time as possible on the contact point. When you touch the ground, you want to spring off right away. Good. I'm going to try the other leg and face you this time so you can have a better look at that. So again, I'm going to drop down. As soon as I hit, I spring right back off. If you can notice, I'm kind of staying on the balls of my feet so I don't land flat on my foot, and I definitely don't land on my heel, because typically you're going to jump off the front of your foot or the ball of your foot. And that's kind of what we're trying to replicate here. And again, like I said, this height is relatively short. But for starters, I wouldn't go any higher, and even potentially just go off 2 feet if you've never done anything like this before, just to make sure you've got that strength in your ankle, and obviously you're not going to get injured. Typically people get injured from doing too much load too quickly, and obviously you don't want to get yourself out of your game. You want to continue playing basketball or whatever the sport it is that you're trying to learn or get more vert on. So too much load too soon is going to cause injury over time, and obviously that's not what we're going for. I'll go one more. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna do the eccentric squat jumps. For this, eccentric basically means you go slowly down as you're bending and then you power up through it. So the slower you go down, the harder it is. So I would say go anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds kind of depth, and then you wanna spring up like a spring. So we'll go 10 reps of these. I'm just gonna hold the basketball just because it's fun, but you don't have to hold the basketball if you don't have a basketball, no big deal. So again, the 5 seconds down, and then you want to explode up. So obviously the slower you go down, the more you're gonna get that burn. As you get tired, you're probably gonna wanna speed it up a little bit, but really try to keep disciplined and slate and go down real slow. You'll get that much more out of it if you do. There we go, we're halfway there. As you squat down, you're trying to keep your chest nice and tall, so you don't want to be slouching over and getting your chest towards the ground. You kind of want to think about driving your butt towards your heels. And again, you should get a real good burn through your quads as you slowly squat down. And last one. Okay, so we're gonna do our box jumps. I'm gonna use this bench here. Again, the height makes a big difference. Obviously, the higher the object, the harder, and potentially more concern for getting hurt. So you want to choose an object that you feel comfortable jumping on and off of. So here we go. Basically, very similar to the other jumps that I do. I always kind of think the ground is lava, hot lava. You want to spend as little amount of time as possible. I'm conscious about turning in different directions, so I'm not always turning in the same direction. Again, that just helps with sport specificity. You're trying to like practice going in both directions always, right? So here we go, 10 reps. And again, I'm kind of pretending the ground is hot lava. If you're getting tired, obviously before you hit your 10 reps, you're stopping right, because the worst thing you can do is smash your shins, trip up, get injured, and then again staying off the court because you're unable to play. And you can see I kind of turned right one time, ooh, and turned left the next time. And last one, woo. Okay, so we're gonna do round 2. So again, the single leg eccentric calf raise. So up on my curb, ball my foot up on the step, and then that slow 3 to 5 second lower with that explosive press. Good. So I was saying that first round that we can make it harder. Basically, the only real way to make this harder is 1, increase your reps. So I'm only doing 10 right now, but you can obviously add more and more to make that a little bit harder. Another variety to make it harder is increase your eccentric load. So slow down, maybe up to 10 seconds. And then that would make it a little bit harder as well. Flip over to the other foot. And again, I don't know if you can tell, but my right leg is a little weaker than my left. So I had trouble with that first one, but you'll probably notice yourself, you'll have one leg that tends to be stronger. Just like hand dominance, you're typically kind of legged as well in terms of right or left legged. And you'll notice that you prefer to kind of jump off one leg over another. And you'll probably notice that with some of our exercises we're doing in this video, that you're gonna feel one leg is much easier than the other side. And one last one. Okay, so we're back for round 2 of these single leg drop jumps. So again, if you're tired, you can always pause the video and take a little breather, stretch it out a bit, and then try the second round. If you're ready to get into it, then obviously just go right into it. I'll start with my left leg for the camera here. So again, dropping down, spending as little amount of time as possible on the ground. That ground is hot lava. Again, you're landing on the ball of your foot. And again, really the key is to spend as little amount of time on the ground as possible. And we call this drop jump, so I'm not jumping off the bench, I'm basically just letting myself fall and basically trying to use my muscle like a spring and just strengthen the spring, right? And again, if you're finding this either difficult, you're obviously 2 things you can do starting on a lower level, like even just the curb of a street. I'll do one more. Or what you can do is try 2 feet. And again, I'll go off the other leg now. 2 feet, you just got to make sure that you're being balanced on both feet, that you're not preferring or favoring one leg. Because you obviously want to make sure you're strengthening evenly, and that's why I like to do these single legs, especially in basketball and whatnot. There's a lot of times where you're bouncing or pushing off one leg, and layups, etc., changing directions, etc. This one leg exercises are great to make sure you're balanced on both sides. But again, there's times where you do want to have 2 feet explosive takeoffs. So sometimes doing a 2-foot version of this is a good idea as well. And again, typically you want to do a bit of a higher object. So check out your local playground, get creative with it. There's lots of places that you can typically find where you've got a solid platform and you can bounce off things. Like I said, it's really about getting creative. One last one. Very good. Round 2 of our eccentric squat jumps. So again, remember, nice tall chest, 3 to 5 seconds down, and explode your way through that. If you actually start finding these getting easy, what you can do is increase your slow down time. So 10 seconds, for example. Hold at the bottom could be another way to make this a little bit more challenging, where you do a kind of a 3 to 5 second hold at the bottom. Another way you could do it is start one-legged jumps, but again, that's pretty advanced, not for the weak-hearted. I would definitely stick with 2 legs to start and then progress your way through as you find you're getting stronger. I'll do a couple more. Last one. Okay, so we're gonna do second round of our box jumps. As an alternative, you could always jump over an object. So if you didn't have a park bench to do this on, even if you had a basketball or a backpack, you'd basically just hop over the basketball or the backpack as something to just hop over. It doesn't even have to be height. Obviously height is good because you want to work on your height, but you could work on distance as well, and that would also help. I mean, just your jumping power, or even just choose 2 lines on the ground or some sort of marking in the concrete, and you can jump over that kind of thing too. We got a bench here, so we'll do it on the bench. Okay, ready for round 2, 10 reps. And remember, alternating the way you're turning, so you're not always turning to one side. Oh. And again, thinking that it's about spending the least amount of time on the ground. And we'll do a couple more. And last one. Good job. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments if you have any suggestions for future videos. If you enjoyed what you saw, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.